Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and this is going to be a Monday Night Raw recap and results video. And I don't want to review the whole show because this show was absolutely fucking abysmal last night. It was absolutely terrible. This show was the go-home show for Hell in a Cell, which is this Sunday. And what can I say? The show is absolutely fucking abysmal. We had the Hurt Business versus Retribution, and after last night, I will never take Retribution serious anymore, which I will get to. We had Asuka versus Lana for the Raw Women's Championship. We all know who won that match. Do I need to say? And we saw Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus, which I'm like, Sheamus, they moved Sheamus to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown because Sheamus was feuding with Big E, and now he's moving on to Kofi and possibly Xavier Woods on Monday Night Raw. So, Sheamus was feuding with the whole New Day, only except he's not feuding with Big E. Oh yeah, and we had Tucker and Otis, who was in a lucha mask. It looked like the mask that Mickie James wore when she was La Luchadora. So they were reusing that. They were reusing that for Otis, the mask that he was wearing. And they were calling him El Gran Gordo. What? And then we had Randy Orton deliver his promo, talking about Drew McIntyre, how he's going to beat Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell this Sunday. Same shit. And he talked about how, he destroyed various opponents in the Hell in a Cell. Oh, we also got Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman. Yeah, wait until you hear that. So, but let's just get started with this recap and results video. So Monday Night Raw opened up last night, and we had new music used for Monday Night Raw. New theme music, which sounded fucking awful. So we had new music for that. And then we heard the menacing sounds of The Fiend. So Alexa Bliss was standing in the ring. The Virtual Boy red lights came on. And Alexa Bliss ended up announcing that he is here. Let him in. So The Fiend ended up coming out. He ended up making his way down to the ring. We saw The Fiend end up placing the head lantern on the ring apron. He entered the ring standing behind Alexa Bliss. And both The Fiend and Alexa Bliss were staring straight into the camera. The Fiend was shown stepping to the side of Alexa Bliss. The Fiend then held Alexa Bliss's hand up. The lights came back up. And then we see the Retribution logo show up where the virtual crowd is. And Retribution also got new music, which also sounds fucking terrible. So then we saw T-Bar, Slapjack, Mace, and Reckoning surrounding the ring. Mustafa Ali appeared, and they all got on the ring apron. So Alexa Bliss and The Fiend were unfazed by this. They were standing in a trance. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, was still holding Alexa Bliss's hand. And so then we see the lights go out. The lights go down. We heard some yelling. The lights end up coming back on. And The Fiend and Alexa Bliss were gone. And so Retribution had no idea where they went. And so then out came the Hurt Business. MVP, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. So we had Retribution and the Hurt Business brawling. All of Retribution ended up on the floor. Cedric Alexander was shown running the ropes, and he leapt over with a big dive, which took Retribution down. And that was that. Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So you could tell that this was just done randomly. And pretty much it shows that Retribution is going to be in this whole thing with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And so then we had a tag team match, a 8-man tag, The Hurt Business versus Retribution. At the end of the match, the Hurt Business ended up winning because Lashley ended up locking in the Hurt Lock on T-Bar. So T-Bar ended up tapping out. And after that, after seeing T-Bar tap out, I will never take Retribution serious after that. This whole stable is dead. Even Mustafa Ali possibly can't save this whole dying stable. So the Hurt Business ended up winning. Post-match, we had the Hurt Business standing tall. The lights go down and signaled the arrival of The Fiend. The Fiend was standing beside Mustafa Ali. He ended up knocking Ali to the floor. He ended up attacking Retribution. Slapjack ended up taking a Sister Abigail on the floor. Mace ended up getting slammed on top of the announce table with the Uranagi. The Fiend ended up chasing Mustafa Ali into the ring for Sister Abigail. And T-Bar ended up attacking. So the Fiend ended up taking T-Bar, ended up dropping T-Bar with the Sister Abigail. So the Hurt Business was watching from the bottom rope. And the Fiend ended up turning to them and stares at them. And Alexa Bliss was shown on the screen. Alexa Bliss ended up mouthing, "Let me in." But we heard it in Bray Wyatt's voice, which was cool. I mean, The Fiend and Alexa Bliss are pretty much the best things going on WWE television, along with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso on SmackDown. So then it was AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle. Before the match got underway, Styles ended up coming out with his new manager. His name is Jordan Magbian, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But this was the guy who was the Raw Underground, the Raw Failure Ground bouncer. And this guy, he's tall. I think he looks 7'3". So Booker T was shown watching in the Thunderdome crowd. I'm like, oh yeah, we're continuing putting legends in the Thunderdome crowd. We also saw Mark Henry later on in the night. And hell, even Big E was in the Thunderdome crowd later on when he was watching his brothers, when he was watching one of his brothers take on Sheamus. So Styles ended up getting on the mic and he gives credit to the powers that be for Monday Night Raw for drafting a true leader in him. So Styles ended up knocking Seth Rollins for his greater good, preaching on his way out of Monday Night Raw. And then he took a shot at Jeff Hardy for stumbling around, creating the perfect time for Styles to reclaim the Promised Land. And he ended up saying that the real redemption of Monday Night Raw was the return of the prodigal son. And that was Styles himself. Styles ended up going on about how he beat Rollins and Jeff Hardy last week in the triple threat to prove that this was never about Monday Night Rollins. So Styles ended up saying that when he beats Matt Riddle, he will shepherd Monday Night Raw into the future. And it will be much, much more than the season premiere. Forgot to mention, this was the season premiere of Monday Night Raw last night. So then Matt Riddle ended up coming out. Matt Riddle came out, the match got underway, which the match itself, it was a decent match here. There was a point where Matt Riddle was on the ring apron. He was going to kick Styles, but Styles moved out of the way, and then Jordan Magbian got in the way. And Matt Riddle was so damn afraid of this guy. He was afraid of Styles' new manager because he had a freaked out look on his face. But in the end, Styles ended up winning. Styles ended up nailing the Styles Clash to Matt Riddle. There you go. Styles ended up winning. And there was a point before Styles beat Matt Riddle where Jordan ended up approaching Matt Riddle. Jordan ended up staring Matt Riddle down as Matt Riddle ended up slowly getting up. Jordan ended up making a fist, and he stares at it. And that terrified Matt Riddle even more, which Matt Riddle retreated into the ring, and that's when Styles ended up nailing the Styles Clash to Matt Riddle. So we saw that, but overall it was a decent match. Lana versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Do I really need to tell you guys who won the match? Because if I do, then you're all going to be like, oh yeah, we all knew that she was going to win it. So Asuka ended up retaining the Raw Women's Championship. This match was not needed. It was not needed. Oh, and once again, we saw Lana get put through the table by Nia Jax for the 5th time. Yeah, let's keep the record going. Let's keep a record going, seeing how many times Lana goes through the announce table. It's getting fucking old. What, we're going to see it 10 times? 20 times? I mean, Lana did sign that contract for 5 years more in WWE. So there you go. 5 years of her taking bumps through the announce table. So then we had Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, and the Riott Squad. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Huh? Wait a minute. Isn't the Riott Squad SmackDown superstars? Isn't Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan SmackDown superstars when they got drafted? Why are they on Monday Night Raw? Why? For no reason. So now WWE is playing up that this brand-to-brand invitational is still alive. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why are the Riott Squad on Monday Night Raw when they're SmackDown superstars? It makes this whole draft fucking pointless that they did. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler end up winning. Whatever. Who cares? Oh, and we saw Elias's concert, which I did not give a shit about. You know what I did during this whole concert? I went to the bathroom, got a snack, put on my headphones, and listened to some good music instead of this shit that Elias had on Monday Night Raw last night. Who the fuck cares about Elias's... Oh, WWE is promoting Elias's album. I'm like, who gives a shit? Oh, then we saw Jeff Hardy. One of his guys was playing guitar, and one of them played a tune. Elias was upset. This guy was revealed to be Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy ended up knocking Elias down. Jeff Hardy had the electric guitar, and he was going to hit Elias with it, and so Elias ended up retreating. And Jeff Hardy ended up declaring that he did not hit Elias with the car, as what we saw on SmackDown back in the summer. If you all remember, the guy who took out Elias had red hair. So clearly WWE even forgot their storyline. And this doesn't make any sense. Why is Elias feuding with Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy wasn't the culprit who ran him over? This makes no fucking sense. Oh yeah, so we had Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus. This was not a bad match. Kofi Kingston ended up winning, hit the Trouble in Paradise to Sheamus. This was when Big E was shown on the Thunderdome, in the Thunderdome crowd. So, and then, we had Retribution backstage. Mustafa Ali ended up cutting a promo, which was a very good promo, where he ended up saying that the Hurt Business made the mistake of thinking his only strength is numbers. He went on and he ended up saying everyone has no idea how much chaos he can make. That all he needs is a cell phone, a secret, and with one click, he can make anyone's world crumbling down. So Mustafa Ali went on and revealed that while he was sitting at home the past year, he watched every corrupt superstar and learned all of their pathetic little secrets. Mustafa Ali then confessed that he was the hacker on SmackDown. Obviously, we all knew it was Mustafa Ali. And Ali ended up saying that he did it because he wanted the entire world to know that this sick place is infecting everyone with greed and corruption. He ended up saying because of that, good and talented individuals are being forgotten and abandoned, and that their dreams are being left to die. Ali ended up saying that anyone, be it the Fiend or the Hurt Business or anyone else on Monday Night Raw, if you try to stop the truth from behind Herd, Retribution will shut you down. So, good promo from Mustafa Ali, but obviously, we didn't even get an explanation as to why Mustafa Ali joined or became the leader of Retribution. Him saying that he was the hacker on SmackDown was only a fingerprint of why he's the leader of Retribution. We want to know the real reason why he is the leader of Retribution. But it was a good promo from Mustafa Ali. And then we saw Tucker and El Grangoro, aka Otis, versus The Miz and John Morrison. Again, Otis. Why is he on Monday Night Raw when he's a SmackDown superstar? Once again, makes this year's draft fucking shitty. Makes no sense why you had Otis and earlier the Riott Squad on Monday Night Raw when they're SmackDown superstars. Oh, God. So, Tucker and El Grangoro, Otis end up winning the match. Otis end up, dropping Miz for the Caterpillar. Otis then end up splashing the Miz from the corner. And that was that. So then we had the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt was shown pulling his sledgehammer from a box. He ends up kissing it. And so he then pulls out Braun Strowman's sheep mask. He ends up laughing at it, tosses the mask. And it looks like he pulled out to be a Brandon iron. And he ended up tossing it. So he ended up saying that, it's moving day to leave his friends on SmackDown. And he's happy to make new friends on Monday Night Raw. So Abby the Witch ended up asking Bray Wyatt to keep it down so she could sleep. Bray Wyatt ended up calling Abby the Witch crabby and says they're just having fun. So then we see Huskus the Pig and Ramblin' Rabbit mentioning that he will be a better husband and father from here on out. And Bray Wyatt was like, oh, Ramblin' Rabbit, I didn't realize you had a family. So Bray Wyatt then promised that he would be a better friend to Ramblin' Rabbit. So then we saw, flashbacks of how Bray Wyatt ended up tormenting Ramblin' Rabbit several times. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that the past is in our heads, but the future is in our hands. So Ramblin' Rabbit ended up asking Bray Wyatt, really? Ramblin' Rabbit ended up saying that this means so much to him, and that all he wanted was a fresh start. So then we see Mercy the Buzzard attack Ramblin' Rabbit. Bray Wyatt ended up laughing, saying that it's more like fresh meat, not a fresh start. So then we heard a woman laughing outside of the funhouse. Bray Wyatt ended up wondering who that could be. Obviously, it's Alexa Bliss, of course. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that he saved the best surprise for last. Alexa Bliss ended up saying that the fun is just getting started. And then Bray Wyatt adds a yowie wowie. So then Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss end up waving goodbye. Blow their kiss. They end up blowing kisses to the audience, to the fans, and that was that. That was the Firefly Funhouse. So then we had Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman ended up winning. Strowman ended up hitting a low blow to Keith Lee, and I don't know why the referee didn't rule it out. So then Strowman ended up following up with a boot to Keith Lee's face, and then Braun Strowman got the pin, and obviously it was shown that Keith Lee kicked out, but the referee didn't see it. So Braun Strowman ended up winning. Keith Lee already fucking buried on the main roster, and now he's not basking in his glory. He's buried in his glory. Oh, buried in his glory. That's what he is. That's what he is. Keith Lee is buried in his glory on the main roster. WWE doesn't know how to book Keith Lee good on the main roster. And said, this guy was a double champion in NXT. How do you fuck up Keith Lee? So then we had Randy Orton coming out, and he was inside the Hell in a Cell, which was lowered. And he was just talking about his various opponents that he destroyed in the Hell in a Cell. Also talks about Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came out. He ended up grabbing a pair of bolt cutters. And McIntyre ends up cutting the lock. Orton ends up hits the ring to wait, with the chair. McIntyre ended up entering the Hell in a Cell. Stares Orton down. Orton was waiting to swing the chair at McIntyre. McIntyre then slammed the door of the Hell in a Cell and tells Orton that his ass belongs to him and that there's nowhere to run. And so that was how Monday Night Raw ended last night. But show was absolutely abysmal last night. Absolutely fucking terrible. After tonight, like I said, with Retribution, I will no longer take them serious anymore. After seeing T-Bar tap out to the Hurt Lock from Bobby Lashley. But overall, that's it for this Monday Night Raw recap and results video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And there will be a second video coming up tonight. And I did a little movie hunting video earlier today. So that'll be up later on. So until then, I'll see you all later.